Hey y'all, happy Black Friday. Is there a Black Friday anymore? I was laughing and thinking about this morning. Um, I guess it must have been 6 or 7 years ago when my daughter was still living in San Antonio. I took my grandson and a friend of mine's son, a friend of mine from Japan. Um, his son was living with my daughter doing English as a second language through the summer so that he could attend his school up in Colorado. And he had come home to my daughter's house for Thanksgiving. And since Junkie had never experienced that Black Friday, and Caleb hadn't really either, I took them out and I was, excuse me, I was really surprised that, hi Iris, I was really surprised that there was no Black Friday anymore, not the Black Friday that I was used to. And I kind of got in late in the game on Black Friday because I don't like to shop. I detest shopping. I loved having this one guy I dated. He knew where everything was on every shelf in this city. So I could call him up and I could say, hey, I need da 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 da. He had already checked all the prices around town, whatever was at the grocery store, if it was from the grocery store, all the ads, all this, all that. And he went and got everything I needed and brought it to me. And I loved that. And I guess that's what's leading into our topic today is what is a master? I would say he was a master shopper, but you know, there's this rule of thumb I think we're going through nowadays about what mastership is. And come to that little saying that we used to have when we were growing up, jack of all trades, master of none. And a lot of people don't really get that anymore. They don't realize that having a lot of tools in your tool belt is a wonderful thing. But you really have to have a strong foundation in order to bring them to the table to teach or to share or to put them effectively together with your other gifts. And this came glaringly apparent to me when I was brought back from Toronto. Some of you have heard me say this and probably are going to hear me say it another dozen times. But when I was standing in that closet in Toronto, I really was just coming back for 6 months or so, I thought. And Spirit bombasted me in the ear with, pack what's important because you won't be back, not for a while. And I thought, oh, what was this? And so they wanted me to teach metaphysics. And I thought I'd hung up my hat on that when when the church closed. I trained in a purely metaphysical church, no dogma attached. There was no hardcore, do this or you're going to hell kind of stuff, or even the hint of it, or procedural biblical persuasion. Not that I'm against biblical teachings, I'm just not a fan of how those teachings are integrated through the use of threats into our lives, that we're going to, suffer consequences if we aren't good enough, or if we aren't, committed enough, if we don't earn enough, if we don't pray enough. So it's hard for me to make that transition. So like I said, I trained for years in this church, without all dogma, without any. And the one thing that always amazed me was how many people said, oh, you have to become a Reiki master, or you have to become a master of massage, or you're a master here. And I thought, what is a master? And then that's puzzled me for a long time. What I've noticed is that a true master doesn't say, I'm a master, I'm a shaman, I'm a medicine man. They don't say I'm a curandera. They don't label themselves, because the true master knows that this is just another lifetime in which we have to bring perfection to ourselves, into our work, and into our lives, so that we can be a light for others. It's become a buzzword because it's a way of validating our work. And that was brought home to me by a very dear friend of mine, Susan. She said, Michelle, people like those buzzwords. It's a marketing tool. You need to use the word master because you have trained. I mean, you know your stuff. You've lived it. You've experienced it. I'm currently writing a book on it. And I still cringe over the use of the word master because of what it implies. It implies that I've capped out. If I've mastered it, there's no more room for me to grow. And I don't think that's true. And I really think that when we use words, we need to realize they come with a vibration. Otherwise, numerology would not be a thing. And it is a very big thing. Ask Brother Francis, who's done over 40,000 numerology readings, and how he teaches it and integrates it into his life. I mean, it's amazing. We talked about some of the things for resonant essentials in the numbers gallery, and he says, "Oh no, Michelle, this is good." I said, "Okay, great. I like that." So what it boils down to is that when we think we're a master, we don't have any more ladder to climb, and so therefore, does that mean we should also charge exponentially for wisdom, for healing? Do we price ourselves out of the ballpark for people who might really need us? Or do we offer a sliding scale so that we can meet our own bills? That was another hard lesson I had to learn because I'm the one that has the drama with the word master. And I'm just sharing my thoughts with you guys here. I had a friend who, when I was leaving for Toronto, I said, please don't become a Reiki master in 6 months while I'm gone. And said, that first year is very important. That first level is about healing yourself. And if you bypass that, you forget a valuable piece of yourself in the work, because the energy flows through you into their vibration. So when we don't bring healing to ourselves, we forget. And healing also means that we created that foundation in our work. So instead of picking up stuff from our clients that we're removing for their benefit, we tend to keep it and create drama in our own. Oftentimes people say, well, how can you recognize a master? Well, they are accountable for their own life and their own drama. That's the master, because we don't get out of it really easy. When I came back and Spirit says, you need to go see what's being taught and why we brought you back. So I was kind of looking at different classes, and I walked into Crystal Dove, and I know Inga was just a beautiful spirit. Gosh, we miss her so terribly in this town. I asked her, I said, so what's going on down here? I'm back in town and want to get reconnected. She said, here's the list. And on the list of classes was a guy that offered to remove your karma for $300. And I thought, heck, you can remove my karma for $300. I'll pay you $3,000, because then I would be in balance. But that's not really how it works. So I wasn't going to pay him a dime. And he offered classes in teaching you how to do it for yourself. And I thought, that's why I'm back, is because people don't really understand what karma is. They think it's payback for ill deeds. No, that's eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and that's found in the Bible under Deuteronomy. Karma is our tool for bringing ourselves into accountability so that we can grow. It's a tool for understanding, and it's a very powerful aspect of our life. That is what made me realize, oh, I have so much more to go and so much more to learn. But going back to my friend, she did indeed get her master's in Reiki within 6 months. And it took her probably 5 years, a lot of drama, and a couple of court cases to work through all of what could have been accomplished through the healing in the first year. I'm not saying that we're not all healers. We are. Every one of you is a healer. Every one of you has your psychic abilities. Not everybody is opened up to being a mediumship in this life, and that's okay. Not everybody has to be a medium, but everyone is a psychic. And every medium is a psychic. Just not every psychic is a medium. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the class tomorrow when we do. Donna and I are going to do Spirit Circle. So we'll get into that more tomorrow. But going back to the word master, I was listening to, I'm really into audiobooks now. It lets me close my eyes, relax, instead of reading on the computer all day and then picking up my book. I'm into audiobooks because I can just kind of turn them on and listen. And the one I'm listening to now is How Forests Think, Tree Forest, by Eduardo Kahn, or Cohn, however you pronounce his name. In this, it was really powerful because in the book, he talks about the jaguar and how the jaguar and the man can meet face to face. And the jaguar will either see the man or woman looking at him as prey or predator. All in how the energy of the human approaches or reacts to or engages the jaguar. Which goes on a little more to explain about signs and how man is the one who relies mostly on signs. And I thought about, why is that important? And it's because when we're looking at the signs, it's because we have to use discernment. I'm not going to say judgment because that's a conversation for another day. That story about judge not lest ye be judged is a huge one because we judge ourselves most harshly, and that creates the traumas within our life that we have to heal in our 1 year level 1 Reiki, or what other modality you do. It's about healing what we have judged missing or lacking within ourselves. So I'm going to use the word discernment. And in that concept that we have, we use those signs to give us clues as to where we're looking to go or the teachings that we're absorbing. And I can tell you that he did this as an anthropologist down in, I think it's Ecuador he was in. And he was working with the indigenous people down there. He said they all react differently. Sometimes the jaguar is the man, and sometimes the man is the jaguar, or the human. That really made me think. And what it taught me was there's no quick answer. You're not going to get to be the jaguar if you haven't created a foundation. And you can't be the human being if you don't have a foundation. We have routines, but we don't have a great foundation. And we don't have foundations that we've created for ourselves predicated on those routines and why they're so vitally important. So we look for immediate results. I think that most of us do. We like those immediate results. That means that we're good. It validates that we can do spiritual things, we can do readings, we can do healings. But you know what's really funny is even if you can do readings and even if you can do healings, it doesn't mean that you can teach it. Sometimes I talked with a woman the other day. She says, you know what? I don't want to be the boss. I love being the salesperson. I love the travel. I love going out there and meeting people. I love getting on a plane and flying across the country. I don't want to be the boss. So she was becoming the master in her sales job. And that left lots of room for her to grow. She didn't want to switch gears. She didn't want to become the boss. She didn't want more chaos brought into her life by having more work and less pay, because she wasn't going to get commission. She was going to be capped out, which is what happens with bosses. They go on salary, which is why they were trying to redo salaried employees so that they too didn't have to work for below minimum wage, which is ironically a lot of supervisors do. Um, so, going back to masterships, is it really that important? Are we really masters? Or are we really good at what we do? Or are we experts in knowledge? And what foundations have we created? Do we really have a routine for our daily life? Thanks to Barbara, she put me on to Simpleology in the last coaching class that I had. And I got to tell you, I realized that the last 2 years had gotten away from me because I was pulling threads. I was grabbing little pieces of life where I could get it. And I wasn't organized. And I remembered everything I had to do, but I wasn't focused enough to set time aside to do it. So now I am. And I'm creating a bigger and better life for myself just by becoming a master of my own destiny, by owning the fact that I needed to be accountable. Remember, masters always are accountable for where they find themselves. That doesn't mean I'm a master chef. Because, even the master chef can forget an ingredient. Doesn't mean that they're less of a master chef. I will never be a master chef. I don't like cooking that much. I love to cook when it's time to cook. I don't often like to eat what I cooked right after I've cooked it. That's another issue, coming from restaurants. Being raised in a hotel with 2 restaurants, yeah, I didn't often like to eat food until I started cooking because everything came out of the can. Anyway, so the master chef earned his title because he studied and trained in that one area to know everything about it. And that was a designation that he had reached the top of his game. And I don't ever want to be at the top of my game. I don't want to be a master metaphysician because then I've cut access to even more knowledge. What I want to be is somebody who gives food for thought to somebody else so they can teach me. That's what I want to be. I want to be the woman who says to you, there's great ways to connect to the wisdom, the truth that you hold within. And I want to show you those truths because then you're going to turn around and you're going to give me that truth. And in that truth that you give me back, I'm going to grow a little bit more. Because if there's anything that 2020 has taught me is I don't really want to come back to the earth plane till I get this stuff straightened out. And I can do it peacefully and easily because this has been a shitstorm. Sorry for the terminology, kind of. You know about it. But it has definitely been a rough year. And in fact, my last 5 years have cleaned my clock. And I'm looking forward to it being a whole lot better. I'm not going to say, can it get worse? Because of course it can. But I'm going to say it's going to get better because I'm going to be accountable. So I'm going to be mastering my own life. Now, how do we get to be mastering our stuff? It's repetition. It's creating a foundation. So when I give my classes Mastering Metaphysics, it's called Building Your Foundations and Principles. Not mine, because your truth is going to be different than mine. And thank God for that, because you're going to still teach me by what you share with me. So when I go into building those foundations, I'm going to teach people 11, there's 13 classes given in 11 uh, videos. Um, and then the opportunity to dialogue with me and work your way through it. You're not going to get to do it in 6 months. You're never going to master this in 6 months, because I'm going to drill into you that what's really important in your life is that you leave it open for growth, for more truth and more higher learning. So in the time it takes you to go through the course, it's a really great opportunity for you to create those foundations of truth for yourself, so you switch your gear and you don't have the drama. You don't have to go through all the painstaking redos, like getting that one guy or girl that seems to be a pattern and has led to the 4th or 5th divorce. I have family that's done that. God. Been married once, just once. Um, I have family that it's like they change husbands like they do tennis shoes. Just change them out, get a new pair. So I don't know what they've learned. It's not up to me to engage on that level, but I do know that for me it wasn't an option for me. I didn't want to learn that way. But what I did learn is that every opportunity for every relationship, whether it be through my family, whether it be through my friends, whether it be through all of you or a lover, brought me something. And for that I'm blessed. Brought me a little higher knowledge. Now, I'm going to give you a quick meditation that I think you guys can use to draw the people to you that you need to bring you into your best you. And I've done this. I have a lot of meditations that I've written. They're posted on Albuquerque Vibrations. But this one, I don't think I posted it there. So what I'm going to tell you to do is, and don't worry, if you want to rehear this, I'm going to qualify this before we get started. You're not going to have to go through Resonant Essentials, the group, and try to watch the video. I post all of these on my YouTube channel, Swanda. So you can go to this date, November 27th, which happens to be my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Kathy. You can go there, click to it, fast forward, and get to the meditation part. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to always surround yourself with a white light. Why is this important? The white light are your chakras all lit up. White is the encompassing of all colors. Black is the absence of color. So when you surround yourself with that white light, it's just that quick, okay? Light it up. You're the biggest, brightest light, and within there is your truth. And I want you to just focus on that light and breathe deeply. Put your feet flat on the floor, your palms up in your lap. You can lay down, but chances are you go to sleep, and you don't want to miss out on the feeling of this particular meditation. So you put your palms up in your lap, and you're going to close your eyes, and you're going to see this light come up and out from you. And it's going to push up through the roof of your house, out to the sky. And it's going to surround the town that you live in. And you're going to see it like a web, falling down and surrounding. And it's going to send down drips. And those drips are going to find the people that you are meant to connect to, that are going to be your friends, your teachers, and your students. Because we are each other's teacher and we are each other's student. Don't doubt yourself for a minute. You always have something to offer. You are true. Not to worry about if it touches base with something in the past or someone in the future. Know that you're in the moment now, and in that moment you're vibrating to bring the people to you that you can bring your best game to, and they bring theirs. And in that, you'll bring the light. And the lighter your light, the brighter your light, the more powerful it is, and the more healing that you'll give to other people. You don't have to know a whole lot of stuff for that. You don't have to know the answers to the universe. And laugh, so many people want me to have an answer, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Let's meditate. You get your answer, I'll get mine, and let's compare notes. Because that's what we're supposed to do. Sometimes I talk to my spirit team. And again, that's a good reason for you to come in tomorrow at Spirit Circle. Because when we engage that opportunity to meet your spirit team and work with them, they're your team. They know your destiny better than anybody else has got. And so when we're doing this and we're engaging this, we know that we are in that moment, that when we connect with them, they're going to give us the signs to lead us to our highest and best us. They're going to lead us to, because they don't want us to starve. Only we want us to starve. Only we want to be sitting there in debt. Only we want to think that our business has been decimated by COVID. Our fears make it where we want to do that. And we don't want that anymore. So we want to abolish the fears. And that's part of being accountable. And that's part of taking those first steps to becoming the shaman, the medicine man, the master. Those are just words. We want you to attain the vibration. That's what we want. The vibration. I laugh, and I'm going to digress. When you do this, don't be surprised at the changes that start happening in your life. Because it's powerful. You can bring healing. You don't have to be worried about COVID coming in and invading you. I'll give you a secret. My granddaughter was exposed, who exposed me. And I called up everybody I knew, and I said, I need an intention, and I need it now. And we did the intention. Everybody connected to me as COVID-free. Okay? Her sister had COVID, but I'll bet she tests negative immediately when she goes for her retest. Not just because it's been so long, but yeah, probably that too, but because the intention was everyone connected to me was COVID-free. Because I don't want to see anybody create illness, long-lasting, that has to be worked out to be healed so that they can live a prosperous, complete life, healthy life. Don't want it, don't need it. So these are the things that you can do with that understanding. Now I'm going to tell you, talk a little bit about shamanism and being that master. I laugh because we have to realize that we came out of the Piscean Age. And in the Piscean Age, man was a seven. There's 7 continents. And on each continent lives indigenous people. Yeah. I'm an indigenous person in Europe. I'm a transplant, but I'm an indigenous person here in New Mexico as a transplant from Europe. My bloodline, I did 23andMe. Got some Celtic Neanderthal up there from my mom's side, and what I thought was Italian was actually Spanish, Portuguese, French, and it goes to northern Africa. So evidently I was indigenous there too. Past lives. Probably an indigenous person in America in another life, which I think is happening in synchronicity. My tongue. Yeah. In sync with where I'm at today. Because you leave this plane of existence out of this form. Michelle leaves. She transitions to spirit. I'm living other lives at the same time because there's no time in spirit. And knowing that means that I can access that. So when we're so busy worried about who's black, who's brown, who's white, who's red, and who's yellow, we all are. So get over it. Because you've lived a life then. And we're indigenous somewhere in this life, even if we're transplants to this life. So what I want to say to that is respect all cultures and learn about them. Because they have information that will bring so much to your game. It'll bring so much power to you. You'll know that you have so many similarities with them, and you can learn that the differences only make you better. That's how metaphysics works, and that's how we come into this world, and we understand that we have been black, red, yellow, black, and white. We've been gay, straight, binary, non-binary. We have been asexual, bisexual. We have died old, we've died young, we have had many lives of experience. And the master, or the person working toward that mastership, acknowledges that and knows how to access it. So do your meditation, bring all the people to you that you need to work with, that need to work with you. Find out how this is going to interact in your life, and open up your truth. Your truth will create the power for you, that you'll bring power to others. Because as you heal you, you're also going to heal the generations above you. So your parents, your grandparents, great-grandparents, everybody upline. And you're going to heal the generations below you. And as that healing takes place, since we kind of reincarnate to the same family lines, you're healing your past lives as well. So you're healing something in your past lives or your upline, and you're healing stuff for you to come into, so you don't have to deal with it in another life. My heart to all of yours. I hope you enjoyed today's talk. If you want to hear it on replay, I will be uploading it to Swanda on YouTube. I wish all of you a fantastic weekend. There are some amazing sales out there, so stay safe. Don't have any fear and don't get angry. It's not worth it. It exhausts you and leaves you open to illness. I wish all of you a great day and hope you tune in tomorrow for Donna Lindblom. She's going to be back. We're going to be doing it online through Zoom. We're going to be doing Meet Your Spirit Teachers, for lack of a better, I don't know what we named it, but that's what I'm calling it now. So Donna's back teaching because we're going to be doing this online. We're going to be doing it live. So I hope to see you there. My heart to yours. Mwah. Bye, guys. Enjoy your day.